The vastness of the Sarkhan Desert stretches beyond the horizon, bathed in the unsteady light of two suns burning the sky. I stand on the dropship's deck, my face obscured by the reflection on the translucent viewport, as fragile colonies scatter among bronze dunes. Twisted metal towers pierce the hot air like petrified sentinels. Each gust of wind carries the scent of sand and gunpowder, a reminder of merciless assaults that spare no innocence. My chest feels heavy. The line between justice and tyranny is as fine as a crystal blade. And I know that today, more than ever, that blade could cut me. We descended the dropship's ramp and sand exploded into golden clouds. I felt Sarkhan's heat cling to my titanium armor, a suffocating embrace that reminded me of a slumbering dragon's fury. My soldiers advanced in precise ranks, but my eyes searched. Where were the weapons, the barricades, the looming clash? Instead, I found canvas tents propped up by makeshift poles and small water purification units gleaming like relics of a lost oasis. Eric pressed against my shoulder, brow furrowed. "Captain, this doesn't add up. There are no rebels here, just people trying to survive." I smiled inwardly. Military doctrine demanded snuffing out even the smallest spark of insurrection. My instinct screamed to protect these sand-scarred faces. Every family, every child darting between cots and cooking pots, pulsed with the injustice that brought us here. As my men erected energy barricades, a tingling ran through my fingertips, an old omen that critical choices lay ahead. I remembered the desolation of the Rose, where prayers turned to ash under bureaucratic neglect. Now, before this fragile camp, I understood that our true battle wouldn't be against hovering tanks, but against the weight of orders that drive men to despair. I strode to the front row of tents. The heat was so intense it nearly welded my visor to my face. The wind, heavy with fine dust, whispered secrets ignored by high command. A woman emerged, hollow-eyed and voice trembling. "Centurion Varyn, we only want water to survive. Why destroy our wells?" Her question cut the air like a lightsaber. If our mission was to suppress a rebellion, when did the line blur so far that civilians became targets? Imperial edicts hid behind distant signatures. I, behind my armor, felt my oath to justice begin to fracture. I gave a subtle nod and keyed the comm. "Captain Wren, report. Are these people a threat, or are they pleading legitimately?" The response crackled cold and distant. "Rebels. Orders are orders." My visor nearly shattered from contained rage. Orders, 4 letters crushing lives beneath the weight of bureaucratic indifference. I looked at my men, young faces, steely resolve, ready to obey without question. But in that moment, I knew I must break the chain of command to save my own honor.
Quick tip to level up your experience. Read Manhwas and light novels for free. Listen to epic audiobooks. Watch unlimited anime. Play cloud games with no console. And stream the best anime soundtracks. Check the description now and grab your free trials.
With firm resolve, I spoke. "Set up defensive positions, but do not fire. Our mission is to contain the inertia of injustice." The soldiers paused, their energy blades trembling. Tears of relief and fear mingled in the colonists' eyes. For the first time, I realized the real fight was just beginning, not with gunfire, but with the courage to choose between punishment and protection. High overhead, the twin suns marked the instant I chose an unforgettable path. And as distant watchtowers flickered to life, I knew that nothing, not even Sarkhan's searing sands, could extinguish the fire kindling in my chest. I summon our field council, Eric, Mira, and Dorian, to the makeshift hangar at the edge of the camp. Generator lights crackle through the night, slicing the dust with electric snaps and casting dancing shadows across the steel beams. In the center, the hollowable shivers with bluish light, mapping tents laid out like chess pieces and vehicles heaped in iron piles. Eric leans over the display, his jaw set like forged steel. His eyes linger on the icons representing families and farmers. "Kaelion, there are no fighters here. If we open fire, we become executioners, not soldiers." Mira, her hands still stained by bandages, closes her eyes before speaking in a calm, heavy whisper. "Those who wield blades carry scars on their conscience. Once branded oppressors, will never be seen as protectors." Dorian's fingers skim the glossy surface, and statistics of casualties and destruction swirl beneath his touch. His voice, usually measured, carries a sharp edge now. We risk a court-martial for disobedience, but the blood of innocents will haunt us for generations. How will we justify this slaughter? Silence settles like a storm contained in the hangar's tight confines. My pulse drums against the titanium of my armor. Every beat echoes like a hammer forging steel. I think of the children laughing as they weave through the tents, laughter that now feels like a question. What price justice? The line between following orders and committing injustice throbs beneath my gloved hand. I straighten, pressing my palms against the holotable's edges. We will do this differently. I will negotiate a truce alone, unarmed. Eric's eyebrows shoot up in disbelief. Alone? With no cover? I nod firmly. That's the only way to prove we are not pawns of distant courts. If they demand battle, I will fight, but only after seeking redemption. Outside, the camp hums with life, tentative laughter, the clink of tools, and the distant rumble of approaching vehicles. I step toward the open doors of the hangar, the dual suns casting my elongated shadow across the sand. With conviction as my only shield, I walk into the minefield of distrust, ready to show that on Sarkhan, mercy may guide even the most relentless soldier. I advance through the tents, each step whipping up sand whirlwinds dancing under the twin suns. I feel every pair of eyes on me, colonists, my own soldiers, even the growl of distant hover tank engines. I take a steady breath and key my transmitter. Centurion Kaelion Varyn of the Legions of the New Dawn. I propose an immediate truce. The silence that follows is molten weight. Jalen Riss, their leader, rises slowly, every line in his face telling of thirst and despair. He lifts his chin and replies, voice unwavering. Centurion, I will fight to the last drop of blood for these people. But I also know the honor of one who protects rather than oppresses. In that instant, the roar of the tanks tears through the air. Their plasma cannons pivot, primed for a shot that would turn this camp to ash. My soldiers flinch backward, hesitation in their stances. I see Captain Wren, arm raised to give the fire order. I cannot allow it. I stretch out my hand and channel the void into my light blade. A silent pulse ripples outward, raising a translucent dome that glows with turquoise energy. The first plasma bolt shatters the shield in a thunderous burst that rattles dust and hearts alike. My muscles burn as the dome's force pushes back against my will, but I do not falter. I remember the desert whispers of the Rose. Justice cannot be bought with blood. Every inch of energy I hold is a vow of compassion. Inside the dome, colonists crouch, wide-eyed but safe. Outside, the cannons hesitate, conflicting orders crackle through the comms. The tanks pivot uncertainly. Captain Wren hovers his finger over the firing trigger, then releases it, unsure. I meet Jalen's gaze. He stands with arms open, placing his trust in me. My shield flickers, and I know it must fall before it collapses completely. I lower my blade, and the dome dissolves into sparks that vanish in the sand. A collective exhale ripples through the camp. Today I chose mercy over fear, I declare, my voice ringing clear. May this truce plant the seed of a new code of honor. A reverent hush answers. Then, in the distance, the tank's rumble recedes, leaving only the steady drum of footsteps, firm strides of those who dared to believe that redemption is possible. The reinforcements fall back, bewildered. Officers shout contradictory orders. The tanks swivel their cannons, unsure whether to advance or retreat. Amid this contained chaos, I step toward Jalen and extend my hand. Paths to redemption demand courage, I say. Today, we stood as allies, not enemies. He grips my hand in a firm clasp. In that moment, a knot unravels in my mind. True power lies not in what we impose, but in what we inspire. As the shield fades, the colonists exhale relief. I watch mothers embrace their children, and men lift faces I haven't seen in a long time, faces of hope. Back at the mobile headquarters, we compile reports and evidence to send to the capital. Jalen and his people will remain under my protection until their permits are reviewed. I sit at the command table, watching Sarkhan's twin suns blaze like stars in the darkening sky. Each point of light reminds me of the Rose, and the days I fought to avoid becoming an instrument of injustice. The emptiness that once felt cold and uncertain now pulses like a silent ally, marking my renewed code of honor. I know the path to redemption is winding and fraught with trials, but today, we proved that compassion can resonate louder than imperial orders. I am Kaelion Varyn. In this universe of dunes and stars, I have chosen that the blades of tomorrow be guided by the courage to change the system itself. And as Sarkhan's first light crests the horizon, I feel this dawn is only the prologue to an era where justice, mercy, and merit walk hand in hand.
Did you enjoy the video? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This helps us know which stories you love most and which ones we should prioritize in future productions. Your support is essential for us to keep bringing you the best manhwa content every day. See you in the next episode.